Why should you be the next mayor of Colorado Springs?
Right.
In a minute or less. Tell me why.
I should be the mayor of Colorado Springs because I've got the most experience. I've been involved with the military here in Colorado Springs, so I'm a military veteran. I've been on the District 11 School Board for 5 years and president of the District 11 School Board. And now I'm finishing up 8 years on City Council and the Board of Directors for Utilities, where I've had all 4 leadership positions in my 8 years. I've been vice chair and chair of utilities. I've been pro tem and now president of City Council. I am embedded in what we're doing in our security and public safety, both with police and fire department. And I think I've got the broadest range of background and interest to be the most successful in this mayoral position.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about public safety. You've talked a little bit about the need for additional staffing when it comes to emergency dispatchers and police. Tell me a little bit about your plan there when it comes to staffing these departments.
Allison, my plan is to make Colorado Springs the safest city in the United States, and it currently is not. We've had about 55 homicides last year. You know, when I came here with Pete Field, we were having 10 at the most. We've had almost 55 or 60 deaths on our highways. And so what we need to do with our police department is I think we need to reach out, in addition to running the academy, in which we have a nonstop academy going now, and really make that job more appealing, I think, to parents so that when they talk to their daughters and sons about becoming police officers, they're more positive about it. And they feel that it's an appropriate career field for them to do the right thing in the community. What do? We need more people on the HOT team, which is the homeless outreach team. I think we've got 2. We probably need 4 of those teams. We need more people, I think, walking the beat in the downtown and the commercial areas, maybe even on bicycles. We need more motorcycle police officers, and we need to go back and look at our helicopter that we used to have in Colorado Springs with the police department so that we have a broader range, I think, of catching bad guys.
Yeah. How do we pay for all of that? Helicopters especially.
Well, the helicopter, I think we can work a deal with Fort Carson. The maintenance part is going to be problematic, and that's why I think we had to let it, kind of go because it was too expensive. I think the crew we can find, we can look at ways that we can fund these things, and some of them might be a public-private kind of partnership with public safety and making this the safest city in the United States. I think the other thing we can do is we have been able to, in my 8 years, and obviously Mayor Suthers has been very successful in increasing our reserve fund. When I came on council, our general budget was about $260 million a year. This year it's $420 million a year. Back then we had about 14% in the reserves. Now we've got 20% in the reserves. I want to take some of those reserves out and put them into public safety now, rather than worry about some recession in the future. Got
it. And so is that where you're finding the money then, going into reserves for some of these?
I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I think you can find money. We've got grant writers both with the fire and police departments that can look for grants. Maybe we can find a grant that would deal with, maybe an equestrian group, of police officers on horses. Maybe a group with, like I say, on bicycles, maybe even on scooters. But put them around so you see them and people feel comfortable when they're out and it's dark. Or ladies feel comfortable when they go into parking garages, or people that go to ATMs don't have to look over their shoulder and wonder whether they're going to be hurt.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about that recruitment piece. You talked about how working in policing is not necessarily the most favorable of job right now, especially because there's been a lot of criticism when it comes to policing. So how do you shift that narrative? What does that look like?
That's an effort that you have to do, and it would be a priority for me if I were to be elected mayor to make that a priority in terms of how we're reaching out to high schools and middle schools, how we're reaching out to school boards, and parents that attend school board meetings. And looking at how that career field can really be something that they think their children can succeed at and can really have, a successful life and not just go out every day and wonder whether they'll make it back, because it is a dangerous job. Currently, a police officer that we hire in the beginning starts at $70,000 a year. That's not a small amount of money. Our teachers, that have to have a bachelor's degree and a teaching certification often start at $40,000 a year. So I think you just have a full, full court press program in working with the students themselves at younger ages. I also think we can reach out to other communities. And I won't name other cities, but you can imagine the other big cities that maybe police officers might want to leave. And I think there's a way that we could create kind of a Colorado Springs Police College here, partner with UCCS or even Colorado College or the new state college that we've got with our community college, and just really, work hard to bring in people from all over the country that want to come to this beautiful city like you did. And, I just would make it a priority. And I'm not sure that's what we've done lately. We've done a lot of work on potholes and infrastructure, and that's great, and stormwater, but we need to do a full court press on public safety.
Let's talk about college real quickly, because we talked to you in 2019 when you were running for City Council at-large seat. One of the things you mentioned was focusing on jobs for young people in the city with livable wages. What progress have you made on that front?
Boy, I think Mayor Souther's administration has done terrific with that, with partnering with the Chamber of Commerce in bringing in companies that, at a minimum are starting at $70,000 and going into the 6 digits, for jobs. Yeah, back in 2019 and in 2015 when I ran, my second goal was to find jobs for, students graduating from Doherty and from Palmer and from other schools within our districts here, and making sure that we kept those high school graduates in Colorado Springs, and if they went on to college, to keep them rather than them going to Denver at best and Texas at worst. So I think we've made a lot of success in the last 8 years in creating jobs to keep young people here. I think the average age now in Colorado Springs, believe it or not, is 34. I think, we win all these awards for, best city to move to, and different magazines really laud us. But no, I think that's been a terrific program and very successful.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about water supply.
Water supply.
Because certainly there was recently a vote within City Council in terms of what that looks like. So I want to know, what does the appropriate percentage look like for you, and what would you do if elected mayor in terms of taking a serious look at that?
We are going to take a third look on the 14th at the water ordinance, which was one that kind of came up as a result of the annexation that was at that time pending south of Fort Carson and right on the Fountain City area. My understanding is that's been withdrawn for the time being. It's Amara. And as a result of that, I think we started to look at, we already had Banning Lewis Ranch, 25,000 acres. How much water do we really have? I was on the board of directors for utilities when we opened up the Southern Delivery System, the SDS, Phase 1. I've got a meeting tomorrow to talk about where's Phase 2 and the reservoirs that we can fill up. I don't think we need 130% buffer at this time. I would love to call a timeout. We had a motion 2 weeks ago to do a timeout on the ordinance. We're going to revisit that, I think, on the 14th, do a complete study, not just something that our experts with CSU are terrific people, and I know all of them, but I just think we're being overly conservative. I do think we have enough water. We've made a terrific effort in 8 years in conservation, and how much water you use in your home or apartment, compared to what we used to use 10 years ago. So I think we're being overly conservative. I think, we ought to call a timeout on the water ordinance and take a study on it, and then come back in September when we'll have 4 new members on both the Board of Directors for Utilities and 4 new members on City Council to take a look at where we're going at that point.
Yeah. All right, we are now in the final minute, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to make your closing statement to our viewers on anything else you'd like to add.
Yeah, I want to reach out to all of the communities, whether it's the education community where I was on the District 11 school board for 5.5 years and dealt with elementary through high school students. I'm still on a charter school board as their treasurer. I've been involved with parks and recreation issues with trails and open spaces. I've been a military guy. I'm connected with the military affairs community here. And I just think that I touch a lot of different areas of the community that maybe some other candidates don't. Finally, I think coming out of 8 years on City Council, and the board of directors for utilities with that fresh knowledge, and my relationships with people that are in public works, that are in IT, that are in HR, is going to be something that really pays a lot of benefits. I wouldn't be doing this unless I thought, I could make a huge difference in making this a safer, better community.